Okay, thanks, Geshan Mahathir. So we are going to start the Sutta teaching session. So currently, as you all know, we are not introducing new suttas, but we are discussing what we have already discussed. And again, sometimes if you have any particular question, any doubt related to your practice, then we can discuss that. So that is what all this time we were doing, and we have to continue like that for a couple of months. And so I welcome all of you to ask any question related to your practice particularly. Then that would be helpful to others as well.
I don't see any questions so far, Swaminatha, or somebody is raising hand.
Yeah.
Geeta Mendes, okay, ask you. You can go ahead with your question.
Okay. Good morning, Bhante.
Yeah.
Last session, in response to someone's question, you spoke about the object of sound in meditation. Then that can be very useful because it's arising from all directions and it opens the mind, you said. So that remark prompted me to look a little bit in the books, Venerable Nyanaponika's book for I thought it would be in the body contemplations, but it's not. It's in the mind objects contemplation, isn't it? And so
you mean the sound?
Yes, observing sound. Sound and six sense basis.
Six sense basis.
So I was just focusing on the sound.
Yeah.
Because I find it's easy to listen to sound,
right.
But it seems that when you're listening to sound, when you're looking at this mind objects section,
yeah.
It's quite complex. It's not just the sound, but it's almost like you're trying to even understand the contact between the sense base and the object and consciousness, how they all come together. I guess that's what you're trying to see in that section. So
now if you come to Satipatthana based Dhammanupassana section, actually not the sense consciousness is not what is being addressed. Actually, we are trying to recognize any kind of a defilement which is arising. Say, for example, it's more into the fetters that the emphasis is given. Now there is a sound, and again there is a ear, and at the same time there may be a possibility a defilement could arise because of the impingement of this particular sound. Now, say for example, if someone is singing and we hear that, and our mind get attracted to that, there's a desire to go and sort of go closer and listen to it properly, or probably I remember how I sang it, or I remember as a group, as a friends, we together how sang it. So likewise, various memories can pop up, various past thoughts can happen, future projections can happen. Now all these are, in a way, we can interpret like the impact of that sound. So likewise, when we are looking at from the sensory basis level, so one option is, yes, we can probably try to recognize the sense consciousness, but that is not that easy. But you can easily understand, assume that your mind is very calm, very quiet, relaxed. But as a result of this particular sound, say that relaxed mood was disturbed, silence was disturbed, again your mind start talking, inner chatter again started, say thinking again started. So such possibilities there that you can actually recognize.
Right, thinking and the desires that come with the memories.
Yes, yeah.
I was reminded of an experience that I had where I was just doing walking meditation. I wasn't very well, so I wasn't trying to do anything. I was just walking up and down, and the mind must have been very calm, because suddenly I could hear bird sounds from different directions, but it was very peculiar because I just heard the sound and I was aware of the sound, but it was very much like there was no me experiencing. It was just the sound and the hearing.
Right.
And I sort of later thought it's like a, orchestra is going, but there's no conductor here.
Correct.
It's a very strange experience, which was followed by a lot of peace.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is the interesting thing. Now, as we are progressing, so that is where we need to reach. So that is what exactly Buddha is talking in the Bahya Sutta, Sutte Sutta Mattam Bhavisati. So there are sounds actually, but it doesn't mean that we are always get involved with that sound. We start talking or thinking or interrupted by that sound. We can't stop actually the sounds, but when they are happening, we still can listen, or rather we hear them. But our mind maintains that integrity. Assume that mind had very quiet silence. Then if we are able to maintain that quietude, even though we heard a sound, then that is what we need to reach in a way. It doesn't mean we become dumb. We still can hear, but it is not disturbing. It can make a kind of, assume that you are meditating and then immediately you heard a sound. It makes a kind of a jerk. But what I am talking here is not that. So you may get a little impulse, but mind didn't start really troubled by that. Something like that.
Yes. And that, so that is, I wondered about that Bahya Sutta, because later I thought, there was sound, but that was it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more. Yeah.
More to it, exactly. So these are the areas actually we can learn and we can progress, because it is not that always we are supposed to sit and we are to progress on the cushion. We have to bring it to the outside. We have to bring it to our daily activities, daily life, and how we are facing the daily kind of situations. When we hear something, when we see something, smell, taste, touching, all that. So that's where the Indriya Bhavana Sutta is very useful in the Majjhima Nikaya, last sutta. Buddha is talking, very beautifully there, how this practice has to be very, very practical.
Right. Okay. Indriya Bhava.
Indriya Bhavana Sutta, the last sutta of Majjhima Nikaya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, Asalal Mahatya, you can proceed.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Bhante, I would like to share one of my experience like last few days. But Bhante, with the understanding, with the framework of this Dhamma, like most of the Dhamma talks, I hear like my understanding is during our activities, if a person does not, let's say, sorry, let me start again. Let's say when a person is mindful, like Sati Sampajanna, during the activities, then the person does not generate keles or like great greed, hatred, delusion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so with that understanding, I like to share my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I attended a social gathering where I met with some close friends, and we had some chit chats and also had some meals together.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, I was mindful and aware of my behavior. Like I would say 99% of the time I was aware of my behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And also I was not, I was still associating with people, like it was not just a boring for me. I was still associating with people.
Mm-hmm.
But what I noticed is, Bhante, like example, while talking in a group, like I did not show off myself or talk to promote myself, but I was aware. I was aware of such moments coming into my mind, but I could prevent it.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
And at the same time, while having dinner in the group, I was aware of my eating habits, and I actually saw my desire to eat
Mm-hmm.
more.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably lost a bit of my sampajanya there because I did serve a bit more
Mm-hmm.
to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I was aware of that.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So, so Bante, my question would be, so in this case, the activities I did with mindfulness, sati sampajanya, did not have created any klesha.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Correct. I mean, we can say so. And on the other hand, actually, we can't exactly say it is entirely pure mind you are able to maintain. But the interesting thing is, you are able to recognize your kiles. You are able to recognize whatever the kilesa, the defilements arising. Now, as you already mentioned, say, you couldn't maintain the perfect sati sampajanya. As a result of that, say you served a little excess. So that may be where that you become little aware of or a little bit of a greed. So that means that your mind has gone through a certain amount of greed. But you have noticed that, and again you are not completely bewildered by that. So, I mean, we can't immediately become arahant. That the point is, whenever there are various defilements, when we are mindful, we can easily recognize it. Or on the other hand, we can say mindfulness will show us. Very much like every time we are being observed, our mind being observed, whenever certain defilement arise, so that is being communicated to us, informed to us, indicated to us, then we can recognize. And as you mentioned, then we don't need to follow it. Even though we understood it, we don't need to be a victim of that defilement. So likewise, knowing the particular defilement is the important thing. Recognizing rather than ignoring it. I mean, we don't need to act like a saint, or we don't need to deny the defilement. Rather, we humbly recognize, okay, there is some greed, there is some kind of a desire to show off, but I am not doing it, I am not following it. So then only we are in a better position to abandon the defilements. That Buddha's statement, Janato bhikkave passato asavanam kayang vadami. No ajanato, no apassato. Whenever we are able to trace, whenever we are able to recognize these defilements, these tendencies, then we have a better opportunity to abandon them.
Okay, Bante. Yeah, so that's good to hear this. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
That's my understanding was as well.
Yeah.
And I just sort of getting your advice on that, Bante.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bante, if I don't mind, because when I listened to the previous question,
Mm-hmm.
there was one query came to my mind about my walking meditation.
Right.
Can I please go ahead with that?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. So, Bante, like even today, when my walking meditation, yes, I feel calm with the walk, and like mentioned earlier, I also feel like automatically walking, and nevertheless, I do not get disturbed with the sounds and things. But one thing I noticed is that I still have the thoughts coming into my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Though I am aware of that, they still keep coming. I would probably be happy to have less thoughts, but nevertheless they still keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes the answers come to me. Most of the hard questions that I had previous day also will be resolved during that time.
Correct.
The thought will come.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see a little bit, I would rather prefer to have a bit less thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
to say that.
Yeah. So that is the tendency. So we, in one sense, we have experienced time to time kind of complete silence. So that is one thing. The other thing is, now we understand, okay, sometimes thoughts are coming. So this is a little bit of a burden. So that indicates kind of a tendency in ourselves to experience that past event, even though right now it is not available. So kind of a desire is there. Actually, I can remember Bhante Dhammajiva often mention, so how about we having kind of a equal preference to have the complete silence as well as have the thoughts. So in a way, when we are too much critical about having thoughts, so that indicates, okay, I have a strong attachment towards that silence. So silence may happen as a natural phenomena. If it is happening as a natural phenomena, that might be better rather than we are trying to suppress the thoughts. So if there are thoughts coming, let them come. We don't need to suppress them. But we, of course, may feel a little bit of a burden because there's a very calm, very quiet, smooth awareness when there are no thoughts that we all can understand. But currently it is not available. Maybe, as you said, okay, certain burning questions were there. Now the mind recognized the solution. Now it is popping up those solutions. That also may be interesting. But the point is, better write them down and again abandon the mind from those. Because sometimes the walking session is a very fruitful area for the mind to recognize those kind of solutions. Actually, this is not only unique to you. Many people have that opportunity. While walking, they get the brilliant ideas. They get the solutions. That is not a bad thing. We can make use of that. But once we write down and completely wash it out from our mind, again let the mind become fresh. Let the mind become empty as much as possible. So as we are progressing, naturally the quietude can happen. Naturally the silence can happen. Because no point of, at this stage, no point of suppressing the thoughts. No point of, using various techniques to willfully, forcefully abandon thinking. So let them come. You can recognize them. I mean, they are teaching us in a way. So maybe certain desires are there, maybe certain tendencies are there, various fears are there, anxieties are there. All are representing. They are actually these thoughts are kind of indicators, kind of agents of those things, and we can recognize them. Then we are having an opportunity to slowly, kind of heal them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Bhante. Thank you so much for that great advice. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Thero Sarnai.
Yeah, Thero Sarnai.
All right, next question for Moira. You can raise it. You can ask your question.
Good morning, Bhante.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a question from more than 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have quite complex work and work maybe 10, 12 hours. And as I leave office, I feel a release.
Right.
And as I'm walking, I work in an area where there's a lot of restaurants and people are just like having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to me is my consciousness pops in front of my body and above. And there's this beautiful feeling of well-wishing, not for one person, for everyone. There's no distinguishing between people. This used to happen quite often after work. And it's in the walking that it comes. I don't experience that now, but I just become very, I don't know, it's such a beautiful feeling. And it's compassion, loving kindness, everything merged together. And it lasts for like 5 minutes while I'm walking through quite a crowded streets.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in a particular place always as well, just after work when I go on that street. That I get that feeling.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and I was wondering whether you were saying in a previous session that you can be concentrating even at work, whether I was in a concentrative state doing work, and then there's kind of a release, and I feel this as I'm walking that gets released and I feel free.
I mean, it's not a bad, so as far as I can understand, it's not a bad experience because, I mean, you are in a very loving kindness mood and you can recognize how others are sort of enjoying their, and you didn't have any kind of jealousy. Instead, you are having kind of a type of altruistic joy, mudita. So that's a really good quality. It's a really good thing. And it actually sort of refreshes your mind because from the day's work, your mind may be somewhat burdened. But this scenario completely release your stress, and you become quite happy, and your heart feel that happiness, and now no stress at all. You are happy.
Yeah. And there's another question that I have about consciousness. So some of the belief systems that are not Buddhist, maybe more Hindu or maybe modern spirituality, talks about consciousness being like this mass, infinite thing that everyone just goes to when they die or when they experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Has Buddha's teachings said anything about consciousness being like that, this vast thing, rather than something that we observe individually?
Actually, it's a kind of a different way that we have to put it in. Now, consciousness in general, we can take different way. In one sense consciousness, conditioned consciousness. Now, as you know, the typical consciousness is conditioned. Chakkuncha paticca rupecha upajjati chakku viññāna. That means when there is a healthy eye, it is open and it is directed to a particular place, and there is an object, visible object, and then the eye consciousness arises. So similarly, the ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and the mind consciousness. Now all these are conditioned consciousness. Now that is one thing. So those actually are the ones mostly known to us. So we are using our senses to operate within this world. So constantly we are being bombarded by various, say, visual objects, audible objects, smells, tastes, touch, tangibles, and then the mind objects. So continuously some kind of a consciousness is present. So those consciousness arise and pass away, and continuously it is a very, going through a lot of defilements are also arising, and all these continuities there. On the other hand, but assume there is a possibility to minimize this, and one day you are coming to a situation where even though your eyes are open, various visible objects are there, your mind maintains the clarity without being disturbed. Now previously what happened is, whenever you see something, immediately your mind gets filled with what you see. Say, various thoughts can happen, various imaginations can happen, your projections can happen, past memories can pop up. All these things are there. But now it's quite different. Even though seeing is there, you are able to mere seeing. So this is another level we can talk, where consciousness has become fairly pure, and here also we can go to another level. Even though we see, our mind is not particularly focused onto anything. Now typically what happens is, when we see various things, our mind immediately get attracted to the most beautiful, most attractive something. So that is a typical scenario. So we are seeing, overall we may be seeing, but immediately our mind catches something, and then our mind is positioned there, attracted to that, located to that. So that is where the established consciousness happen. So then the mind get tangled, and the various visualizations happen within the mind, so mind get occupied. Our clarity of the mind is not available now, rather mind is very occupied. But suppose in another scenario where you see, but still your mind is not located to a particular thing. Overall kind of a seeing is there, but not any particular thing. This is another situation we can talk, where the mind is now, the consciousness is now unestablished. Not a particular distinctive consciousness is not there. One important definition, how Buddha talks about the consciousness is, Vijanātīti ko bhikkhave tasmā viññānanti uchchati. So we call it viññāna, the consciousness, because it can distinctly recognize, distinctly pay attention to a particular thing. They assume that there are thousands, millions of various things, but we can distinctly know each and every individual thing. So we are objectifying, we are particularly recognizing each and every little thing. So that is where the activity or the function of the consciousness. So that is where the conditioned consciousness, established consciousness. This is what we are handling most of the time. But our practice, as we are progressing, there may be a situation, as Buddha mentioned to the Bahya, even though seeing is there, our consciousness, our attention is not particularly drawn to a particular special object, rather kind of an overview is there. So in such case, we are talking about a unestablished consciousness. Now this unestablished consciousness is not something, we can't say it is something created or something conditioned. Rather that conditioned consciousness has to be abandoned, then this unestablished consciousness may be readily available. So then the question is coming, is this unconditioned, or is it vast? Is it completely, say, shared by everyone? So is it a universal consciousness are we talking? Now these questions arise at this stage. So it's a very deep subject, by the way. So the point is, this unestablished consciousness, viññānaṃ anidassaнаṃ anantaṃ sabbato pabang. So there's a very beautiful verse, very profound verse, Buddha explained in the Dīඝa Nikāya Kevadda Sutta. So this talking about the unestablished consciousness. So the viññānaṃ anidassana. At this stage, the mind is very lucid, very completely pure. It is quite transparent. There is nothing, no tanglement at all. So typically the consciousness is tangled with the name and form. But here it is not tangled at all. It is completely pure, lucid, transparent. And viññānaṃ anidassaнаṃ. So it is typically mentioned as the unmanifestive. It is not manifested in any form. Viññānaṃ anidassaнаṃ anantaṃ. So it is completely doesn't have any boundary. It is boundless. Anantaṃ sabbato pabang. And at that level, so the mind is illuminated by the wisdom. You can't have this kind of a state when the mind is associating ignorance, but when the mind is illuminated, when the mind is influenced by the wisdom, then there's a possibility to have this stage. Anantaṃ sabbato pabang yattā apoja padavi tejo vayo nagadati. So at this stage, there is no any physical object being manifested in the mind. Any physical object, any physical, say, phenomena, any image attached to such a physical object can't be represented in the mind. Now, say for example, assume that you have a sun. Now, when you remember the sun's image may appear in your mind. So that means mind being occupied. The consciousness got occupied. But at this stage, there can't be such kind of a visualizations happening within the mind. So mind has to maintain the complete clarity. So apo, padavi, tejo, or any of these physical objects can't have any impressions, establishments within the mind. And yatta nāmaṃ ca rūpaṃ ca asesaṃ uparujjati. So the nama rupa, name and form, is completely ceased. So there is no name and form. So mind is completely having that unestablished situation. So there is no name and form popping up in the mind. So this kind of a very specific explanation is there when we are coming to the Buddha's explanation of this anidassana viññāna, unestablished consciousness, non-manifestive consciousness. So taking it to another level and telling, okay, this is a universal consciousness, we all share that, and something like that, little have doubts of taking that to that level, because then we may be because sometimes people attribute it to a soul. Then we are going in a complete wrong way, because it can't be a soul, because Buddha completely denies the soul theory or the selfhood. So this is not. Now in the Hinduism, I heard that they are talking about simple consciousness and then a vast type of a consciousness. So when they get emerged with the Brahman, so they become this vast consciousness. But Buddha doesn't say like that.
Thank you so much for explaining that.
Yeah.
Because you do come across those things on social media and things. And I have experienced something 25 years ago where I basically left my body and the consciousness. It was dark. It felt like it was going forever and ever. It seems infinite. But it's not me. It's just dark and it's going. It's not in my control. It just happened. It's very organic. But when I came back, I had the view of self because I was new to Buddhism, and I thought, I'm infinite, or my consciousness can be infinite. So I attributed it to myself. But you do get this information that, that the consciousness is vast.
No, actually, I mean, your experience, by the way, can happen in many different ways. So we can't immediately attribute it to the Anidassana Vijnana, because this kind of a vastness, complete opening up of the mind, can happen due to various reasons. Now, even through metta, metta meditation, if you are coming to a very higher type of metta, you may be able to spread the metta to the whole universe. At that time also your mind completely become open, boundless, and you may achieve what we call the metta ceto vimutti. So the liberation of the mind through metta, loving kindness. So likewise, many different forms are there to completely open up, and you don't feel any boundary, you don't feel any narrow type of a mind. Rather, your mind becomes completely very vast, boundless type of thing. Same thing it can happen in the vipassana as well. So when you are in the say sunyata ceto vimutti, the same thing can happen. So likewise, so many different situations are there. So we can't immediately say, okay, you perfectly understood the Anidassana Vijnana. We can't immediately say like that. Many different possibilities are there.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
It's a vast subject, by the way, very interesting and very profound subject.
Is it when you reach Nibbana, is your state of mind like that all the time, open and absorbing everything like?
No, actually, that is what Buddha is talking to the Arahants. We can say when they may be in the Arahatta Pala Samapatti, they may be experiencing the best form of this state. So, I mean, I don't know whether Arahants are every time in this state, but I can't say like that. And but of course, certain books say, okay, when they are in the Arahatta Pala Samapatti, definitely they are on this kind of a very perfect Anidassana Vijnana, unmanifestive consciousness.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay.
Swaminathan, thank you, Moira, for that question. That is a fantastic question. And just to tag along with that, considering your answers as well, Bhante, we have these 6 senses, and each sense has its own consciousness. And if the case is the Hinduism, I know it is, but this is for my analogy just for now, if it all goes into one, and these individual consciousness should be going as separate entities as such, which there should be 6 buckets of. But if that is the case, then how after the life after it, certain individuals talk about your past memories come along, and how would that sort of come together, as you also mentioned that it is a big topic to discuss as well. With that, I'll rest. Thank you.
Memories are typically attributed to the sanya, the perceptions aggregate. We can't say now say for example when arahants die, so their consciousness completely cease as they die here, and when they are dying, so they are perfectly on the unestablished consciousness, and as a result of that there is no rebirth. So that is how typically mentioned. Now there's a very beautiful situation, or rather story, that when the Venerable Godika passed away, so as an arahant, so Mara didn't know that, so he thought that he passed away as a typical monk. So then he was searching his consciousness where he was reborn, and then Buddha showed that to Venerables other monks, saying, have you seen this dark cloud moving here and there? And then the other monks say, yes Bhante, we have noticed such a cloud. That is the Mara who is trying to search where this Venerable Godika found the rebirth, where again the consciousness has find a footing. And then Buddha mentioned Venerable Godika has passed away with the unestablished consciousness. Appatittitena viññānena Godiko parinibbito. So Buddha mentioned, okay, with an unestablished consciousness, Venerable Godika has passed away. So that indicates that the arahants, when they are passing away, so they are with the unestablished consciousness. So they are not going to have any birth. So whatever the conscious moment they were having at the last moment, that has been ceased. There is no rebirth.
Yes, but it is very clear because you nicely summarized for Moira's question, and I understood that, and the Nama Rupa, there is no entanglement with that.
Correct.
And which is that attachment is there, so that is great.
Yeah.
I see Andre, so I'll ask them to ask the question.
I'm sorry. Just a thing for Bhante and the co-host. I tried logging in from one of my other one, Vitarna, talking from a partner. You cannot raise hands. The chat is also disabled, and you can't unmute, so it's very difficult to communicate. Just something to note. I think with iPhones it's happening. I think this is an Android phone, so that you can raise hands, but something for the co-host to know. So I don't know if there's a setting issue with the Zoom.
I'm also not familiar, by the way, about this situation.
Chat is enable, and then unmute. Of course, you have to sort of raise your hand, and the way to raise hand, there is a heart sign of a react, and through that you should be able to sort of click and raise your hand.
Oh, okay, no worries. That's all right. Then I'll ask the question if that's okay from Bhante, if that's all right. I try to raise hands. So
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
So Bhante, I just noticed, Bhante, morning, like with something what happened at work, like something was sort of maybe something that I held on, that I had a bit more of a disturbing thought. So I was trying to do my kamataha, going to and try to see with the Dhatu Mansika, the feelings, and saying if I can get over that fact. But what I noticed is, although I tried quite a few times, there was some lingering thought or some lingering thing in back of my, mind, and that was very, I could feel it. It's just that it's not going away. Then what I noticed is, I said, look, I wanted to get some advice from you when these things happen. So you try to go and do your feelings, or you try to go to your, maintaining your sati, as they say, and then you try to break it, in the sense that I guess maybe there was an expectation from my end that I can somehow sort of completely get over the fact. But the thing is, it kept on that although I got over the initial one without any reaction, but there was something in the back of my mind or something that came on and bothered me quite for some time. So I'm just wondering what would be the best advice here, Bhante.
So actually I didn't properly get the question. So while walking, so you get certain thought to your mind?
Sorry, while working, something happened, like, with that work. Right. So this situation, so let's say that it created a worry or something in my mind.
Yeah, understood.
Right, which I noticed. Right. Right. So because these days I'm fully trying to do the practice as much as I can, even though at times when I'm not doing bhavana, I just at day to day. So what I noticed is, what I did was, then I went back to my practice, like looking at it from Satya, like just saying what my thoughts are and what is bothering me. So then I tried to disengage from that, right? Just look at it like from apart, like far.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
But then it went away. But then what I noticed is, when I came out of it, there was something behind that that I can still feel it. There's in the back consciousness that was bothering me.
Understood.
So I wanted to understand, like, what sort of an advice there I can take, Bhante.
No, it may now that's an interesting thing. You are referring a very beautiful scenario. Now, say for example, there could be a situation. Say you are going through certain emotions and various thoughts are coming, and now you recognize it and you apply mindfulness, and if possible probably even kind of vipassana technique. Suppose that you are able to overcome those thoughts. Now assume that even your mind become even silent, but certain remainders or certain previous emotions, certain kind of feelings related to those previous emotions can still, have some kind of an impact to your body and to the mind. So those may take a while to slowly disappear or slowly dissipate. Even though mind has stopped, still the body is in a way kind of a slow responding. And mind quickly you are able to calm down, relax, and you are already free, but body is slow responding. It will take some time to fully recover. So this kind of thing is possible. Now with time there are various thoughts are coming, or various, as you said, you went through a worry and you are able to overcome that, it has gone. But still, maybe even now that is a different thing. Even in the mind, if you have a little bit of shade of worry, so that indicates it is not completely ceased. There is still a very weaker shade of worry. That is possible. Yeah. But with time, it will also disappear. You need a little bit of time, by the way.
Okay. So, but there's no like special thing. What I did is, what I'm trying to understand is, what I did is correct. Like, I mean, correct means that's what I should like.
Correct. Exactly.
The practice.
Yes.
But there's maybe my expectation of it completely going away was wrong. I think that's what I was trying to understand.
Yeah, we need to give some time, because now these emotions, sometimes certain emotions are very strong, and we can't immediately wash it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I understood, Bhante. So I think that I sort of thought that my expectation was, but then I had this other thought that maybe I'm not doing my practice right, so that's why I wanted to clarify it. So I think I done it right. It's just my expectation was too much, I guess, in this situation.
It seems like we have to be little, we have to be little practical. Yeah. So theoretically, it is true that we should be able to completely overcome that, but with time, it will happen slowly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even when we have remnants of that, because I mean, this is not once, like I noticed a few times with these things, it's basically still doing the same thing, same practice, right? Even the remnants, if I feel something, I go back to my practice. You have to wait till it disappears. It's not like you're expecting anything, but we just do go to your Vidarshana or Satya just to look at it, right?
No, for the time being, that is what working for you. But later in the future, as you are further progressing, you don't need even a very sophisticated vipassana technique to overcome it. Even when you are just being mindful, once you establish mindfulness, even that may be enough for this particular thing to disappear. So likewise, the practice is gathering kind of a momentum. So at first, it is not like that. You need to do a little bit of workout, but as you are progressing, the method that you are using becomes very, very, minor, or we can say very refined, very soft, very gentle kind of a reminder. Establishment of mindfulness might be enough for that situation to overcome.
Okay, Bhante. Thank you very much, Bhante.
Thero Sannai.
So, Geeta Mendes, you can ask your question.
Thank you. Bhante, one more question.
Yeah.
I noticed this morning actually that there's a very negative aspect to my mind or mental function. So how I've this is what I recognized. Yesterday I had a medical appointment and I actually got better news than I had thought I was going to get. So I thought this morning I was still worried about certain aspects, and I was thinking, why am I not happy that I got good news? Why am I now digging out these bad possibilities? And this was going on, and I then suddenly realized that actually not just yesterday and today, but this seems to happen quite a bit, where the mind is veering to even though there's something positive, it's going to the negative. I thought, okay, this keeps happening. Is that what you call anusaya tendency coming up?
Yeah. Actually, we can say so, and it's a very, very common thing among our humanity. So our mind is programmed in such a way, so we prefer worrying than being happy. So that's why, in a way, we are kind of victims of that kind of a wrong habit. So most of us are having, it may be enough to have a slight thing to be worried. Even though there are 1,000 other things are there to be happy, we ignore that. We only catch something to be worried. And then we become worried, ignoring all that positive things where we can be happy. So that is a kind of a wrong or bad tendency or trait in us. So it is good that we recognize it. Now you recognize it. Okay, this is a stupid mind, stupid habit. Why now I have a better position? Yes, I got a good result, better result. So why still mind is maintaining that old habitual worry? So that is the wrong tendency or anusaya latent tendency we are carrying all this long time. So we have to slowly overcome that. So that's why being happy is something we have to teach the mind in a way. What to do? These are kind of psychological errors that we all are sharing as humans. We need to be sympathetic about ourselves, more compassionate about ourselves. So this is how my mind is operating. This is how my mind being programmed all this time. So I have to have some compassion, self-compassion, and slowly abandon those wrong tendencies.
Thank you, Bhante. Sounds like maybe I have to do more metta as well.
Exactly. Metta towards yourself.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
All right, Bhante. So I just wanted to bring this up. I'm going to share the website with all the participants. Whoever who in North America, they can, if they want to join for a retreat, they should be able to sort of go and find the details in there. Bhante, if you want to share some news with that will be great as well.
Yeah, actually, as most of you are aware that currently I am residing at Bhavana Society, West Virginia. So while I am here, so there are a couple of retreats organized by several organizers, and those are listed in the website. So the idea is, so there's a ongoing discussion to establish a monastery in USA a branch monastery in USA. So we are looking for that as well. And in order to promote that idea and to get the attention from the others, so several short retreats, actually these are not very long retreats, but short retreats are organized in several places in the USA. So those are listed in this website, and you can visit the website and find them out. And if you have any friends, you can inform them. And so this is what Geshan like to share with us, so I like to promote it.
Very good. Thank you, Bhante. And I don't see any other questions. If anybody have any questions, please raise your hand, and then this is your opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, since there is no more questions, I think I have almost reached 10:21 p.m. So I like to then wind up the session, and I hope Geshan is going to play a practice session so that most of you can participate in that as well.
Yes, Bhante, I will do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your answering the questions. Thero Saranai.
Okay. Yeah. Thero Saranai.